How do you attract people in your market to be your customers?
Huge part of it is YouTube. I drive people to my community.
You've combined AI agents with high-level workflows, right?
Yes, I do that. It's
What,
one of my favorite things to do.
where do you think most of them go wrong when they try to implement AI into their offers?
It's just a lack of process. Either from the agency side, they are not asking the right questions, or even from the business side.
What was like the lowest moment on your SaaS journey, and how did you push through it?
What was the limit of the day? 24 hours. I barely had a life.
How has that changed the way you approach content SEO and branding your own SaaS?
The main thing that I see is that people that like leads that come from ChatGPT, leads that come from the AI tools, they're usually more qualified.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience podcast. This episode is presented by HighLevel. Our guest today is somebody who didn't wait for the perfect conditions. He created them in a country where there was almost zero high-level support, zero documentation in the native language, and basically no community. He went ahead and built one anyway. He's a systems engineer turned SaaSpreneur, combining automation, AI, and relentless drive to empower entrepreneurs across Brazil and beyond. He's built a high-level powered SaaS company, launched a thriving Portuguese-speaking community, and now teaches others how to turn software into income, both in Portuguese and English. Please welcome to the show, Lucas Dantas.
Thank you so much, Vid. It was a pleasure to meet you at Level Up Summit, and it's even bigger of a pleasure to be here in your podcast. I know big names have been here, so I hope to represent my country well. Even though I'm speaking English, most of my content is Portuguese, and everyone that's watching, thank you for all the support.
Man, I can't speak Portuguese, but I've checked your channels. I've looked at Instagram, looked at YouTube, I've looked at your content. Man, you've got a great energy, and what you're doing for other non-English speaking countries is amazing. I think kudos to you for that.
Yeah, when it started, I didn't know where it was going to go because like you said, like in the beginning, it wasn't really ready for Brazil, but when there's a demand, then you see things taking place, you see things evolving, and that's where we are now. I think HighLevel is paying a lot more attention to not only the Latino community, but also Brazil, because we do have our nuances. Even though we're the only country in South America that speaks Portuguese, we have very good marketing, and it's a country with great potential for you to sell online. So some things happen only in Brazil, but you see other things happening on the other Latino countries that they share the same solution. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to see where things are going, and I know there's a lot more to come.
What I'm curious to know is what were like for you, the biggest growing pains building a community around a tool that didn't support your language out of the box?
Well, the first thing is the translation, of course. For agency owners, it's not a big deal for them to see things in English. Like they already are used to seeing new software. They know that new software comes in English. So for them, it's not a big deal. But dealing with the end customer, the person who is actually there responding to people, they are navigating through the pipeline, through tags, custom fields. And for them, it's the most complicated. And
right, you're talking like the end users, the employees of those businesses and such.
Yeah, exactly. So there were some workarounds like using some CSS, you're using Google's native translator, but there are always some hiccups, some things that break. But yeah, in the beginning was a lot harder. Now they have been working on a lot more translations. The front end is almost fully translated, so that helps a lot on that term. The other difficult that we had was the payments, the gateways for payments. There are specific ways that people pay in Brazil, specific payment methods. And it took some time until I was able to speak with someone from a company called PagBank, and they were able to bring Boleto and the Pix. Those are the names of these payment methods that's very popular in Brazil. And they were able to make it work at a sub-account level. And now I know HighLevel is working on a Mercado Pago integration that probably is going to be huge for our market as well.
Mercado, that's a like specific to Brazil, is it?
It's a Mercado Pago. It's an Argentinian payment solution. we have something called Mercado Libre, which is like a huge eBay in South America. And the same company also has a payment solution that integrates with credit cards, Boleto, the Pix. And they are working on this integration to work at an agency and at a sub account level. So it's going to be great for people who have agencies that want to be able to collect payments using those payment methods, and also for the end user that's able to sell their info products, their service, and also accepting those payment methods.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's very important, right? You need to provide a solution that works with that market. Let's talk about the SaaS configurator. You're more of a SaaS than an agency, isn't that right?
That's correct. I slowly transition. I have worked for an agency for 2 years. So I have always had the mentality of servicing people. But then when I met HighLevel for the first time, when I saw what I was capable of doing, I decided to transition to more SaaS, and now offering parts of HighLevel to people at with recurring payments, or
Yep.
just coaching people on our programs that we have in the community.
Okay, great. Well, let's talk about that. Your process, like turning the followers into customers in a market that may or may not be, I'm not so sure, be so familiar with SaaS. What's your process? Like, how do you generate leads? How do you attract people in your market to be your customers?
For me, one social media that was huge part of it is YouTube. Being able to have my content searchable for people. I think that's one of the key ways that I drive people to my community. In the community, they see my free courses, free content that I put out. And then it becomes more like a system that I see more of a system, because people, they find me out because of maybe a YouTube video, maybe on Instagram. YouTube is still my most popular social media. I have started to create content on Instagram, but it's more for like middle of funnel. So people see me on YouTube, then they start following me on Instagram. Then on Instagram, there's more shorter videos. On YouTube is when I can teach more, because it's a long form. But then in the community, we have a WhatsApp group where people can ask questions. I'm there constantly answering questions, or some of my community members are there answering the questions as well. So it becomes more like a matter of time until someone realizes that, oh, that guy can help me. Oh, I need HighLevel, and Magnetic Funnels has one of the sub accounts and they sell it. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign up with one of the plans. And
Yeah.
also as an affiliate as well. That happens in all those fronts.
Right. Yeah. So the secret recipe here, when it comes to sales conversion in general anyway, is the trust. And the only way you can build trust is by being authentic and showing your expertise. So what you're doing is doing exactly that. On YouTube, you're publishing videos. With the videos, what I'm curious to know is, are you focusing on around the keyword of HighLevel, or more general as like business solutions to business problems?
I try to change the type of content that I put out. I Some content I just talking about like the new features that HighLevel has put out. In some content, I try to show like one offer that I have done that it worked for me. In other content, I talk about a specific problem that we can solve using one of the features from HighLevel. So I try to change the type of content, and the ones that usually brings the most signups or most people to community is when I show results. Yeah, when I show like an offer that I have done and it worked like repeatedly. And the new features are very good for the number of views, but with less views, this type of content brings more people in, which is sometimes
It
like for me.
converts higher.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a specific type of content that with less views it can bring more. It has a higher conversion rate, even though it doesn't have the same amount of views.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about it like a funnel, right? Awareness, consideration, decision. It's almost like if you make a video about a new high level feature, which, by the way, it's like the easiest type of content to create, because it's like you don't have to think too much about what the topic's going to be. You just make a video about new feature, and if it's exciting new feature, I don't know, like for example, the video testimonial feature that was released, that's pretty attractive feature, super easy. So in that sense, it's almost like those type of videos are like your awareness, and then a consideration slash decision would be your, sharing the results. Now, you mentioned you're also talking about like different offers that works and the results you got with those offers. Do you mean offers like for other SaaS agencies or like businesses? Because that's one thing I just wanted to find out. Are you targeting business owners for your SaaS, or are you targeting other agencies in like Brazil to learn about HighLevel and then sign up through your affiliate link?
That was a good question because I do both. I showed an offer from a client that drove a lot of leads, the
Mm-hmm.
example of an offer so they can understand what was the thought process and they can develop that type of offer for their clients. But I also talk about an offer that I've done from an agency, well, from an agency SaaS, agency slash SaaS point of view to clients that they can do repeatedly. Like one of the things that I do, and that I learned from HighLevel, just seeing how they put out with their new offers, giving like a 50% discount for the first 3 months, and then you charge the full amount. So that's one of the things that I do a lot, and it works really well because it's a low risk, low barrier offer at the beginning, and you have enough time to prove your results for the client to realize the results that they're having, the consequences of it, and then when they start paying the full amount, for them it's a no-brainer, right? If you have done your job well, they will pay the full amount with no problem.
Okay, great. So yeah, one thing I'm curious to know also is co-branding and clarity. So let's say if you're making a content and it's highlighting the business model of SaaS and how it could be how other agencies in Brazil could do this same thing, then obviously you're talking about HighLevel, but then you're making a content that's specific to business owners that you want them to sign up for your own, for your own version of SaaS. I think it's called magnetic funnels, right?
Correct.
And you do both through one YouTube channel, right?
Yes, I do both through one YouTube channel.
So I don't know if it's me being like super OCD or something like, but the way I do it is I've got two separate channels to
I
not
have
mix
thought
it.
about
The only reasoning there to me it's and I might be wrong thinking it, but if I'm making videos that are talking about HighLevel and then I also want to talk about my own white level SaaS, it might confuse the end business owner that I want to get as a customer for my SaaS. And B, if they are seeing me sharing the strategies with HighLevel and then I want to get them to sign up on my SaaS, depending on the pricing, of course. But let's say my pricing is higher than the HighLevel pricing would be. And that's just the nature of it because I provide all the extra support. And so I need to have that markup. But if a business owner sees that, they might go, well, it's cheaper to go with HighLevel directly. I really love those videos. I'll continue watch, but I'll sign up with HighLevel. Have you found that being a case?
Yes, I have thought about the separating channels several times, even separating a channel in English and another in Portuguese, and having the same done for the software as well. My base plan is compared to the starter plan from HighLevel. And
Mm-hmm.
in Brazil, I would say that who can afford the SaaS plan, they are on a different level. And even people that sign up for the starter plan, it's not anyone that can do it. Compared to how much of how much the lowest subscription of HighLevel corresponds to minimum wage in Brazil, it's almost 50% of the minimum wage, being
Oh,
able
wow.
to afford the starter plan.
Jesus.
The pricing points is one of the things that I would say that if I was in the US doing that, I would definitely see my results hurting because of this approach. But in
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, because of how high the barrier is, it's not anyone that will be able to sign up for the agency plan or the SaaS plan. So what I try to do with my SaaS magnetic funnels is to show them an easier route for them to start, and I sell them sub accounts for a low price, like the additional ones. So
Yep.
they sign up with one full plan, and then I give them additional sub accounts for a lower price. And when they're ready, then they graduate to their own HighLevel. That's what I have been doing, and it has been working really well. So most of the people that sign up for my plans are agency owners, and for me, it was the best decision to focus on that type of public instead of focusing on the end user. I still have some clients who are the end user, but I see that the more end users I have, more people I need to have on support. So for me, I made a decision to put the price a little similar to the starter plan so I can get people that are more agency minded, that I'm going to support them, not their clients. They're going to support their clients, and I'm going to support them.
Oh, okay. Right. So your target is agencies. Okay, great. That's a good That's an interesting way. Okay, so you get them on into your own SaaS white label. You help them, and then when they're ready, like you say, when they graduate, what is
Eject.
the function? You can
Yeah.
and then you get the 40% anyway there. So it's a win-win anyway. Okay, great, interesting strategy. Okay, thank you for sharing that, by the way, because I know some of this stuff not everybody wants to share the details, but I appreciate it. Lucas, can we talk about AI and automation? You've combined AI agents with high-level workflows, right?
Yes, I do that. It's
What
one of my favorite things to do.
So what are the use cases you're like most proud of that are actually getting results for clients?
So, well, one of my main offers here in America, here I do a combined offer, the SaaS account, the sub account with the service. And one of the main sources of traffic that I was using is local service ads for calls and messages. And I always, when I do this setup, it's always AI on the SMS and trying to book with them, qualifying them and booking. One of
Mm-hmm.
the one of the main, how can I say, one thing that really changed how I deliver to clients was when I first started with HighLevel. Before, I was delivering like a list of leads, I was sending them the leads, and then with HighLevel I was able to qualify those leads and deliver appointments. So that's one of the game changers for me. And when you combine the AI on the SMS, in some cases we also do Facebook and Instagram if we're running content, if we're running ads on those profiles. But most of the time, using local service ads, it's straight call or a message. So a voice AI to answer when the main office cannot pick up the phone call. That's always working, and also at least to gather information, so then someone inside of the office can call them back, and also the AI under the SMS channel. Always a
Brilliant.
good choice. Always a good choice. I really like doing
I'm
those combos.
I'm not familiar with local, so that's a Google Ads product, one of the ad options on Google, right? How does that work?
It's not inside of Google Ads. It's almost a new method of Google because it doesn't involve going to a website. It's it's only available in United States, in some countries of Europe, and the way it works is it makes your profile rank up higher, the organic results, the mapped results. It shows up kind of like a Google business profile, but with a Google badge. Or they before they had Google Screen, Google Verified, Google Licensed, and now it's just Google Guaranteed. It's just one single badge, but it established some authority because people see that if they just changed it recently, but until last year, people could see that if they had a problem, they could be reimbursed. There were some guarantees by Google that if they do business with that profile that Google was showing, they had some guarantees, some sort of a backup plan if things go wrong. So that's one of the easiest way for you to plug AI because it's not a lot of work. The main part is that you do need to have to go through you do need to go through A2P, have the number approved, and then be able to list that number on the profile for calls and also SMS messages.
I'm looking at the website now for Australia, so it is available here as well. Yeah, so you've got basically a listing on, and this would be local services, so plumbing, home services, and it just comes up with their name, the star rating, and then basically a call. So there's no click to go to the website. It's basically call now, and I assume Google would then show this to people who are most likely to be like primed to book somebody based on their data they've got.
Yeah, I see that in the big cities,
Mm-hmm.
the competition has gone so high and the cost per lead has gone so high that people are stopping now to do that. But I live in
Mm-hmm.
an area that's 250,000 people. The other cities here that are big, considered big next to me, it's 35, maybe 100,000 people. So in those cities, local service ads works like a charm because there's
Mm-hmm.
always a demand. And in some cases, you might be the only business in town. You might be one of the five, and that gives you a lot of competitivity, like a advantage
Yeah.
on those searches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
that's a good.
business
That's a good
only
offer.
pay when there's a interaction. So if there's a call, if there's a message, they pay, but they don't pay for the visibility. So people can rank there all day.
Ah,
There's no cost on that, and they only actually charged when there's a phone call and an SM or an SMS message.
but the conversion, the Google doesn't care about the conversion. That's on the business owner, right? So they pay for the phone call, for the opportunity to have that phone call.
You may not realize this, but for the last 2 years, I've had a secret weapon that has made running my business inside of HighLevel so much easier. You see, there is so much that HighLevel can do, which is amazing, but it's a lot of work to stay up to date with it. And even more so if my customers are asking me questions about it. And this is why I'm excited to announce that our show is officially part of the HLPT Creator Network. This is HighLevel Pro Tools, an organization that I've been using to run support for my customers, as well as give me a ton of awesome epic add-ons that make running, launching, and differentiating my SaaS inside of HighLevel so much easier. And now that they're an official sponsor of the show, they've done something pretty bloody awesome. If you go to hlpt.com/experience, you can get one of their incredible tools absolutely for free. No purchase necessary, just for being a listener on the show. So head over to hlpt.com/experience, grab that free tool, and I promise you this is going to improve the conversion rates on your page. Check out all the other stuff that they offer and tell them that Pete sent you.
You know what's wild? There's a smarter way to grow your agency and help more local businesses without adding more stress. That's what HighLevel does. It's your all-in-one sales, marketing, automation, and AI system. No more duct taping tools together or paying for 20 different subscriptions that barely talk to each other. I've been using it for 5 years with my own white-level version, Stand Out from the Pack, helping Aussie businesses like Dimitri, a Canberra electrician, who now runs his jobs, quotes, calls, and follow-ups with our built-in AI employee. If you're an agency, HighLevel lets you do exactly that. Support your clients in new ways while building stable, recurring revenue every month. And if you're a local business, partner up with somebody who knows your market and your industry. If you're in Tasmania, my mate Jared from Boulder Digital, for example, has you covered. If you're in Canberra, that's my turf. Check out standoutfromthepack.com.au and we'll get you sorted. The point is, there's probably a high-level agency or SaaSpreneur near you. We're seasoned marketers, tech-savvy super nerds who love helping local businesses grow. We're global, we're connected, we're high-levelers. Now, I've got something really special for you guys. I've negotiated an exclusive 30-day HighLevel trial that's double the usual just for you. Sign up your agency through gohighlevel.com/vid or upgrade your existing plan, and I'll hook you up with over $3,200 worth of bonuses, resources, templates, and snapshots I normally give to my private clients only. So whether you're scaling an agency or leveling up your business, start with the right system. gohighlevel.com/vid or team up with your local SaaSpreneur and let's make business simple again. One platform, one login, no duct tape, just results.
Yeah, and Google has a automatic, how can I say, it's a more an automatic review for the calls, because if someone asks for something that you don't offer or they are in an area that you don't service, Google can reimburse you. The credits now are done automatically. Before you needed to rate those calls, but then they well, there are some pros and cons on that, because there are some cases that Google will deny and there's nothing you can do. And before, there was at least like some sort of manual process that you click on it and then you give a feedback. And I would see a lot more reimbursements happening because of one of these reasons that I gave more often. But it's one of the things I think they make it really easy at the beginning so they can get as many customers as they want. And then they start making things more difficult, more expensive, just like it was Google Ads. There was a golden era of Google Ads, and now it's a lot harder. You need to have more data. You can't promise things in 30 days. No, so it's just one of the hiccups that we have to deal with. But in marketing, that's how things roll.
But the beauty is that you connect a number that's linked to the sub account. So when people ring that up, that'll automatically save it as a new contact, right? And then that's where you then pair it with the SMS and AI chatbots. You can maximize conversion.
Yeah, you also get the location right away on the call. So you can see the number and then you can see the city, the state. Of course, that's based on public information that the carrier puts out. So If
does that information carry over into high level?
yes, it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
impressed by
Oh, that's
that.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it does.
because they've got a native integration, don't they, with this?
I believe it's a Google integration that because on the Google business profile, you can also get the city and state when people call you. So I believe it's
Right.
a Google thing.
Okay. All right. So this is good foot in the door offer. Well, not even actually more than that, a proper service offer. I want to shift the script here a little bit and talk to you about, because you work with other agencies. Where do you think most of them go wrong when they try to implement AI into their offers?
For me, and also having working at an agency, it's just a lack of process. Either from the agency side, they are not asking the right questions, or even from the business side. Maybe they think they have a process, but when you actually think it through, there's some gaps that just makes it harder for you to plug an AI agent. When the message, like when they have a clear process and you know exactly like what's gonna happen in each one of those steps that the AI agent needs to take, it's a lot easier. I'm saying that because I have been on both ends. At the beginning, I didn't know what the right questions to ask. So one of the things that I love about AI agents is that you spend some time putting the work, setting it up, but then it should be like more like a campaign. You sit down in some days of the week and then you optimize, you see what's going on, and you optimize, then having to have your client talking to you every day saying that one of the things that the AI agent was wrong because you didn't ask the right questions at the beginning. You
Yeah.
always need to have some sort of FAQ, some sort of like document with the offers, document with basic contact information, some nuances about the business, some things that only the business do. And at least that you have at least a FAQ bot ready to go. But that's when I see my experience not having a thought process for either receiving the information to create the AI agent or the
Yeah.
business itself. The process has some leaks, has some gaps that it needs to be thought through. This needs to be a conversation with the business owner to understand what are the gaps and how we can fill them with the AI agent, or even using a human with an AI agent combined.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely with you on that, because you can reach out to business owners and pitch them all day about voice AI and all the amazing things it can do, and you will definitely get some interest. But you don't just want to close them on that, and then the fulfillment is the critical bit. And in order to complete the fulfillment and set it all up, you need the front end, like you need the information from the client. And if you can do it in a way that's more like fast and easy for the client to do, whether it's like you said, maybe it's a phone call conversation asking them all those questions, or you can create a nice little, like an elegant survey, step by step, question by question survey, asking them questions like, hey, would you prefer a male or female voice, if it's voice AI, right? And all those options. I mean, that's one of the ways I've done it, because you can look at the settings in the, how do you configure the voice AI. But if you show that to a client, they're just going to see lots of different parameters, right? So you could basically create a survey instead and then just drip feed question by question. Is that your approach as well, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, I've done a few wizards like that on Lovable, for example. So just to have a better user experience, I've done a survey and then I redid in Lovable, so it just looks a little bit better. They see their logo there. The way that the steps go through is just a little easier on them. I still have clients, a problem with clients that didn't want to answer the full questionnaire, but I then you make the call and then you go through the questions with them and then you fill out yourself. It's not a big
It's a
deal.
numbers game, right? You're never going to have 100% on anything, as much as we try. But what it does, it creates a standard layer that you feed everybody through, and then those that don't, you then take a plan B, which is jump on a phone call.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's interesting. So you don't just have one survey that's with your own logo on it. You actually create their logo on it. So do you do it for each customer separate?
Yeah, depends on the setup. Like if I'm going to go all out with my offer, I do use it on Lovable. So I add their I try to go through the business website, get their logo, and put it there. It's just it's not a big deal. It's just like a way for you to upload a logo, and that's it. And it shows up whenever I can share like a link with them, and then whenever they fill out that link, there's their logo right there. So it's not a big
Interesting.
deal. It's just like just a way to personalize better the experience for the end user.
So Lovable, for those of you guys listening, if you've been living under the rock, it allows you to do vibe coded websites and stuff. So you basically talk to an AI and then AI will build you a website. And the results I've seen, it creates really nice looking websites. What I'm curious to know, and this is one thing I've just never really understood, is if Lovable creates a survey for you as well, how do you link it to HighLevel? Because you have to have fields from HighLevel. How do you link it?
You can ask to send a webhook, and then you can get the inbound webhook from HighLevel, and then you can instruct to send a JSON webhook through the link that you get from the inbound webhook trigger in HighLevel.
Okay. All right. So that's one way. So you have to do a bit of a configuration on the workflow and then link it to the custom fields. Is there a possibility to maybe just grab the backend code of a survey and then pass it to Lovable, and then Lovable would bake it in, but put its own fancy front on it?
I think, well, I would say the easier option would be just getting the embed code from the survey on HighLevel and ask Lovable to embed in. And you can maybe use Anthropic to get a CSS styling code, so you can paste into either the survey or on Lovable just to change the style. But that's an alternative too, depending on how much fancy you want to get. If it's just like a straightforward, maybe you can just put the survey as the same colors as your page. Like if everything's black, just put the survey all black, no shadows, just so it can blend in better with Lovable. But yeah, and sometimes I just do everything in Lovable and then just send the webhook. And I love Lovable because of how easy it is for you to create lead magnets. That's one of the things that we talk a lot in our community, having lead magnets, because I see what people most struggle is like, it's to get people's attention. And when you have a lead magnet, you can use their curiosity, you can use a pain that they have in order to show like a quick insight or a quick something that's gonna help with them. So Lovable is my go-to like lead magnet tool.
Brilliant. Well, I wasn't planning for this, but would you want to show an example? Share a screen. We can have a look.
I'm gonna go through my community website because there I have some of the lead magnets. I can click on share here. Okay, I can see screen. And this is my community website. I believe you can see it. And here,
it's coming up now.
On tools, I have some of my lead magnets. So I have cost simulator, I have conversation AI calculator, I have a SMS calculator, and I also have a quote assistant here.
So a lot of these lead magnets are geared towards the other agencies for them to use to prospect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not seeing this stuff, because I'm listening on Apple Podcasts or whatever, totally fine. I got you guys. We do have this on our YouTube channel. So later on, if you want to see this particular portion of this interview, just head over to our YouTube channel, HighLevel Experience Podcast, where you can see this. Back to you, Lucas.
Awesome. So this is one of them. So here is a quote assistant. Let me see if I can translate this to English. Awesome. So this is a system for professional quotes. And what we try to do here is to add features from HighLevel that people can offer. So lead management, sales pipeline, marketing automation, multi-channel service, sales funnel management. So these are all parts of HighLevel or things you can combine on HighLevel as an offer. So let me do the multi-channel service, and then I click on continue. Here I have the project details, like the base value, like how much it would cost for this project to be finished. Here the quantity, if necessary. And here like a contract time, we can add like how much is going to be the implementation. In here, the monthly fee for this offer. And here's, for example, 12 months, 897. We use Brazilian reais here. Let me just do like a quick one so you can see. So here is other things that we can offer. And by clicking on it, you can add as a bonus or you can add as a price as well. So this will be like a 99 reais price to add.
Like an upsell.
Yeah, like an upsell. And you can do like weekly reports as well, a weekly strategy meeting. And here, like we have a suggested price, 3,000 reais. Some of them you can add dedicated support group. So these are things that you can add as add-ons to your offer as upsell. And you can even add
Yep.
like a custom resource if there's one.
Mm-hmm.
And here, the deadline. So you can do 15 days, 30 days, 45 days.
Delivery. Okay, this is project delivery. Okay.
The delivery time. Here, the
Nice.
payment, if it's going to be Pix, that's one of the methods in Brazil. A bank slip, it's like a boleto, credit card. And then if there's going to be like a number of payments, we also have that here. And then at the end, it's information from agency, information from the
Mm-hmm.
company that we gather here. I'm just going to add like
Yep.
some information because at the end, we get like a PDF with this, with everything that was covered.
And I see you've got a WhatsApp field there. Is this because WhatsApp is quite popular in Brazil?
Yes, it's our main way of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's huge for us. I don't think I need.
I know it's the same in Spain as well. They use WhatsApp a lot. Okay, so you put a logo
So
there.
here
All
it's
right.
the last part. So it's basically the agency information, the company information, and it's ready to download in PDF. So that's one
Brilliant.
of them. We also have this. This is a little bit easier to show. I'm not going to go through all of them. This is basically a way for them to simulate their cost. If they send emails, let me just translate. I think you can see it now.
Yep.
So this is to calculate their costs, sending emails, internal notifications. Here the country, like where they are sending these messages from or to, the number of minutes in calls, the address autocomplete, and then they can also adjust the agency markup so they can simulate their costs.
Right. And the reason why you've got the country drop down for the SMS is because Twilio charges differently based on the country.
And WhatsApp too.
Yeah. Oh, and WhatsApp as well. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's
And
one of the two lead magnets, all created in Lovable. Very easy to maintain, very easy to create them as well. You just need to
so
have the formula.
do you get this feedback into HighLevel, or you don't care? You don't collect this data.
This one is, you see that on this page, I have call to action for people to see the plans from Magnetic Funnels.
Yeah.
And they also have here the high level information. So I send this to everyone that signs up for my free course. One of the things I ask them, if they have a high level account, and at some point, if they don't have it, they're going to receive this calculator, or they receive another one that has the upgrade links.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah,
So it's part of your like a lead nature.
But I don't collect any information here. It's just have the call to actions going to some other lead magnets that we have, the voice AI calculator, conversation AI calculator, and also the high level plans with affiliate links, besides having magnetic funnels as well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for sharing, Lucas.
Yeah.
I know you're big on, you started with services, now you're more big on like more selling systems. When did you make that shift, and what changed after that?
So what happened with me is when I started creating content about high level in Portuguese, I started getting all sorts of messages. People asking me to work on them in projects, to like companies asking me to customize high level for them as an agency, also, and customers as well. And at the beginning, I had some people helping me, like a couple of people from the community. I just created the community, so I was basically like the only person in YouTube talking about high level in Portuguese. I think now there's like almost 10, but it was the very beginning, and I just hit the ceiling because I got 4 projects, and then I was like inundated with work. I had things to do all day, talking with people about projects all day, and that's when I realized, okay, if I'm going to do this, I should do this in a different way. Like, how can I get 100 clients working like this? How can I get 100 clients at least with the structure that I had? There's no way for it to work. So that's when I decided to stop doing this big projects, like this big implementation projects, even though the ticket's higher. I was not planning to have a full team that I manage. That was not the direction that I wanted to go. So that's when I realized that, okay, I need to change some things here. So instead of selling my SaaS and doing full projects for people, let's change a little bit. Let's have some automations ready. Let's have some basic training for people. Let's have some support sessions so people can do that. And that's when I was able to get more clients and still being able to know how much time I would have to dedicate on a given week to deliver everything I promised. So that
Yeah.
was the main thing that made me change from delivering servers to doing SaaS. I still think that in the future there's still room for that to get projects again, to get big projects. But I have other priorities at the moment. But and the only way for me to make that work is to have a big team under me and have someone that I trust for the projects so I can delegate. But it was like a mindset thing as well. I have always come from I've come from IT and I always deliver service. So I still had a few problems on delegating stuff. So that's where I saw the best path for me. But slowly I'm changing how I think of things, and I know that in the future there will be an alternative for me as well.
It's hard to do both, right? And the business model needs to be like ideally it should be scalable. So the model that you've got right now, if I can sort of like analyze it, is allows you to do things at scale because the fulfillment is more productized and systemized, and there's less custom stuff, which gives you more time to do the content on YouTube, which drives more people. So you got this, and this is like such an important thing in business, right? To have it's about resources and where you put in your focus. So if you can have a model that allows you to scale without adding more time to it, then you can continue to do what generates those leads in the front. I've done some big projects too, and I'm 100% with you on that. It's you can make some good money, but it's a custom, and so you have to drop lots of things, a lot of calls involved, a lot of adjustments. Scope creep happens often as well. That's a whole another topic we could talk about. Scope creep, right? If you don't have a clear expectation, what's the deliverable? Client will always try to push more, and then suddenly you're not profitable. So it's very important. I think one model that could work if you're still getting those like high ticket or custom build requests is maybe working with a fulfillment provider. There's a bunch of fulfillment providers now in the GHL. Who did I interview? Priya on one of the episodes. She's got an agency. She does custom fulfillment. And it's almost you could still sell it and be in charge of collecting the payment and then pay the fulfillment partner. I wouldn't do that. Honestly, if I was going to have like that, I would just have a simple commission and have an agreement. Like you deal with the client and you just pay me
Yeah,
whatever makes sense.
it's just the language.
That way,
That's
yeah.
it's a big barrier. But I've looked into it. I even talked with companies during the Level Up Summit to see if there's any plan to add some sort of white label support in Portuguese. And I would even help with providing talent, like giving them candidates. But yeah, I see that's gonna happen in the future. Let's see.
Okay, so in terms of white level support in Portuguese, yeah, that's another one, right? So you might want to reach out to I don't know if Matt, if you're listening to this, but reach out to Lucas, Matt DeSanto from HL Pro Tools. He might have
I talk
something.
with them. I talk with them too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
talk with them.
He's
They're working on the Spanish one. I think the Portuguese is coming. It's just gonna take some time.
okay. Brilliant. Lucas, we met in Dallas last year, and this is where you've received your SaaSpreneur Gold Award.
Yes,
Massive
it
congrats,
arrived
mate.
last week. I didn't even have time to hang it yet, so it's right there.
Okay, massive congratulations, mate. So for those of you guys listening, SaaSpreneur Gold Award is awarded to those of us who have reached 100 paying sub accounts. So that's what that is. What does that recognition actually mean to you beyond the trophy?
Well, it's a very heavy plaque. I'll say that, but I think what really changes is recognition. When I talk with my country, it's a big country, and people are skeptical, like any other country. And when you have these symbols, this just like having just like when I got the high level certification, for me, it didn't change my life, but it was another way to prove authorities, another way to show your skills without having to people seeing your screen all the time. So it's more like a symbol of authority.
Yeah.
And for me, I look at it and I remember the whole journey, like everything that I've done, the mistakes that I've made, the community growing, the first person that reached out to me because of a YouTube video. For me, I remember all of that. But for people, it doesn't mean all of that. For me, it means a lot
Hmm.
more than for other people that seen from the outside.
Through some of your content, I've seen you talked openly about, having like sleepless nights and doubt. And what was like the lowest moment on your SaaS journey, and how did you push through it?
I would say one of the most difficult part is when I started the whole thing. I was still working for an agency, so I had my responsibilities within the agency, and I was at the limit of someone, like I was the limit of the day, 24 hours. So I cannot ask anyone to add another more hour to a day, and
Hmm.
for me, I was just like at my limit. I was sleeping very little. I was working almost every day until 2 a.m. in the morning, waking up early. And I had to fulfill clients for the agency and still create content for the SaaS, for HighLevel, help the community as well. And it was like scary, but also I know that I made the right decision because of everything that has happened. But to make the decision to just leave the agency.
Hmm.
And for me, it was very scary at the beginning. I wasn't making as much money I was making at the agency at the beginning. So it was like months of struggle, but yeah, everything paid off. But yes, the lowest point was not being able to do time management properly. Like I was constantly working. I barely had a life. And then when I made the decision, I still couldn't sleep for the first 2 days because I was constantly thinking about what I have just done. But
Yeah.
then things started getting better.
Yeah, you got to make those tough decisions. Eh? Also, like when things are tough, motivation sometimes disappears. With consistency wins in those situations. Like, what habits or daily systems have helped you stay consistent when the motivation wasn't there?
So I'm very happy during summer here. I live in Iowa and it's really cold. So like during winter is when I usually had my the worst moments because I like exercising, but during the winter I just don't feel like it. And one of the things I've done that really changed was getting like a walking pad.
Hmm.
And just in the morning, you put in like a couple steps in and it gets you going. And then I was doing like at least 1 hour of steps every day. And it's just like it changes how you're going to deal with your day, basically. When you start your day like being active, for me that was one of the things I said, oh, I should have started doing this like from the beginning. Because it's like you said, it's like a mental thing. If you're it's really hard to be motivated every day. The motivation just doesn't come, and it's discipline that makes it going. Like most of the times, you don't want to do things most of the time, but when you have the discipline, you start doing things not because you want it, but because you're already used to them. But then you started liking the process. So for me,
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I've done that changed how I am in the 36 5 days of the year. During summer, I have no problem waking up early and going for a walk, going to the
Mm.
gym. It's just during winter, I just couldn't do it. And that has helped me a lot. Just keep balance. I was basically like two Lucas. Lucas during summer, Lucas when it's cold, because there's summer here is not it's not that long, but when it's cold and when it's not cold. But yeah, and putting discipline in, I created other habits too. Like I don't meditate, but I try to take 45 days to relax, like just to wind off, to stop thinking about anything. And that's what I'm trying to do now. Being in Brazil has made me realize that I could work a little less. I could work a little less, and then it's really easy to get used to vacation. So now I'm trying to slowly go back to my normal routine, but I can be more relaxed now. I don't have to be like
Yeah.
full mode all the time.
I've had a similar experience recently. I had my parents over here and we did a holiday, 5 weeks holiday. And during those 5 weeks, I was in more of a just a maintenance mode, making sure I responded to emails, but I wasn't really building anything. And when I got back, I felt like relaxed. Like I had that period last year where I would work similarly to you, like until 2 a.m. and like I had a big project on. And so it was a bit of a hustle, a bit of a crazy year last year. And after the holidays came back, I felt, yes, this is good, but I need to take things a little bit differently this year and a bit more relaxed. And realizing sometimes just being busy doesn't always equate to growing. You
Yeah.
just get to a more where when you don't sleep, you're just busy being busy, and your mental performance is actually diminished. you're actually not making that much progress as when you're like more focused and taking it more specifically.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
everything is just a reflection, consequences of like how you treat your body, how you treat your mind. But yeah,
So
that's when I know that I'm getting older, because like 10 years ago I would never think about this. Yeah, I could drink and play soccer at 6 a.m. the next day, no problem. That's just now I have to plan 6 months in advance.
yeah, I mean, like age and energy obviously is important factor, but I also think it's about being more strategic and like the 80-20 rule. On your Facebook page recently, one of your posts, you talk about your shift, how now you just become more obsessed with the bottom of the funnel instead of the top. What were the first changes you made when you shifted your focus to looking after customers rather than trying to get new ones, focusing more on the churn and retention?
Like one of the things I mentioned during the like our interview is that my offers were also for the end customer and also for agency owners.
Hmm.
And the my bottom like my churn rate was higher on the end customer side, because it just the way I deliver things in the SaaS. Because
Hmm.
I don't think the end customer cares about that I'm only online on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Zoom for the group sessions. They need their problem solved. I had to hire someone to help. So we have WhatsApp support. So if people need, oh, I have a problem with my sub account on a Monday, it's not like I'm not gonna service them. We do have WhatsApp support, but that was where I see most of my churn rate going. The end customer, that it was the offer that I make, it's already like around the starter plan price. So I'm
Yep.
and for me to deliver like a high quality service at that price is really hard. Really hard. I would have to do that at a loss if I really make it happen in a very efficient way. So
Yeah.
that's when I decided, okay, I'm gonna serve the agency clients better, help them more, because I know that they're gonna keep getting more accounts, and whenever they're ready, it's fine. I'll graduate them. I'll eject them to a new high level account, and that's where I put my focus on. So I shut down my offer to end users, the end customer, and started
Yeah.
to service better the agencies. I created a new program that we do, putting like adding together like 4 calls a week, but then in one of the calls is always a team helping agencies to either attract more clients, get more clients, service clients better, offers for clients for them to get more recurring revenue, upsell offers. So that's what the change that we have made, the direction that we have gone through, and that's where my I saw my churn rate decreasing from that moment on.
Brilliant. And it's really good that you went over that detail with the pricing, because there are people in the community who like to sell high level for peanuts. And I've always said it, and other people on the podcast have confirmed this, is you can't sell it too cheap, because you always have to think about the customer support aspect. And if you don't have that in, you're going to have high churn, which is why one of my earlier questions when I'm talking about my white level SaaS, I can mention high level too. But if a customer comes to me and they say I can just sign up to high level, I would just say, look, you can, but high level, their team is not designed to help you specifically as a business owner. They're designed to help agencies. This is why the model works. This is why you want to work with a white label provider who has support system in place with a higher ticket. But that's how that works. It doesn't really. It's hard for that to work any other way, because you need to make profit too.
Yeah, exactly. If
Yeah.
you yeah, I realize that if you want to do that in a very efficient way, like it's really hard to do that without being at a loss. You have to have a team. Either you're gonna pay with time or you're gonna pay with money.
Yeah. I've got one more area I wanted to talk to you about, something that you seem to know a little bit about. You've been posting about it. The shift to AI first search. You said AI is now the first impression layer before Google. How has that changed the way you approach content SEO and branding your own SaaS?
Well, it's not like this change just happened. It gradually happened. For me, like one of the things I've changed is now I used to create content only on YouTube. Now I have content on Instagram, I have content on LinkedIn, I have content on TikTok, I have content on Facebook as well. Not because I love social media, but because now when you have this 360 approach, the AI agents are more likely to recommend you. Of course, YouTube always help because of searches, and the AI is also doing searches as well. So that
Hmm.
helps a lot. And the main thing that I see is that people that like leads that come from ChatGPT, leads that come from the AI tools, they're usually more qualified. It's people that have done more research, people who have no problems like reading through stuff. It's a more educated. I think it's the right way to say it's more educated people, more self learners as well. And for me, it's amazing. Get that type of people. It's amazing because I know that with one call with them, I know I'm just sending them in the right direction. They will know where to go. They will know what to do when things are not doesn't seem quite right. HighLevel is very, I would say, it's intuitive at some point, but you need to know how things work in a more like in a grand scale for you to like figure out like some updates, where things went, where can you find things when they're not dead anymore. But yeah, the leads from AI, I just see as better qualified than a
Hmm.
normal lead that comes from maybe like a content from Instagram that had more views than usual. People that see like short videos on YouTube. It's just, I see that from the user's perspective, it's much better for them too. Nobody wants to see 10 pages of results, having to click on it and see if the answer is there or not. The AI just makes it better for everyone. And we can see that even on WhatsApp, a lot of people are using AI on WhatsApp for a specific maybe translation. Like I've seen that on WhatsApp bots. You send an audio, they send an audio back with a translated audio, just so you can see what that sounds in a different language. I see that happening with AI agents that send biblical verses, send motivation phrases. We are seeing that in Brazil. So it's AI powering everything, searches, powering communication tools and software, of course.
So, Lucas, mate, we're at the end of the show, and you've shared some valuable information here. So, thank you so much for that. Now, if anybody's listening, whether they're from Portuguese-speaking country or anybody in general who is interested to working with you, what sort of offer do you have available for them?
I'm gonna send them to my community, and then they can see my contact information. They can see the lead magnets as well and my offers. It's highlevelexperience.com/magnetic funnels. You're gonna be directed to our community website, and there you can see our programs, our offers, magnetic funnels for you that's a Portuguese speaker. Doesn't matter if you're Angola or in Mozambique, Portugal, Brazil. We service every Portuguese speaking country.
Brilliant. Lucas, thank you so much for that. So guys, head over to highlevelexperience.com/magnetic funnels to learn more about Lucas's offer. While you're there on the page, if you scroll below the fold, you'll see some amazing offers from our podcast sponsors as well. So make sure you check those out. I've got a couple of rapid fire questions for you before we wrap up. Would it be okay?
Let's go.
So what about HighLevel originally grabbed your attention? Was there something specific or a problem you were trying to solve?
For me was the easy of use. I have used other CRMs before, Dynamic CRM from Microsoft, Salesforce, Zoho CRM. And for me, HighLevel is just the easiest one for you to get around. To get your first automation working on the first day, that was very good.
And this is coming from somebody who has engineering background. You've got a long history working for IT, so awesome. What new high-level feature or like a digital marketing tool are you most excited about right now, and why?
Man, I would say it's WhatsApp, but I would say WhatsApp plus AI. We're seeing how you can replace specific tools with just a bot on WhatsApp. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a tool like that's going to help you with your calendar or with your exercises, but that's one of the things I get excited a lot. And of course, there's this new thing called Open Claw that I want to see where it's going to go. I haven't put my hands on it yet. I usually wait to see what mistakes are people gonna make, where it's gonna go right, and then I start working and exploring. But that's the two things that I would like to point it out.
Yeah, I do have an idea for an episode. That's a That's an interesting conversation. The Claude bot, now a mold bot, and how AI is now creating its own religion, and it's pretty crazy. So yeah, we might have to bring maybe Mario on for this. I've actually reached out to the founder through LinkedIn, the guy from Austria who built it. So I don't know if he saw it yet, but yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed. That would be interesting interview.
Hopefully.
Lucas, any advice you'd like to give to somebody looking to start their own agency?
I would say that's a really hard one because I don't want to sound too generic. But if you are starting with HighLevel, what I would recommend is don't try to learn everything at once. Even if you're not using HighLevel, don't try to service everyone. You know that it's kind of like the same. Like if you try to learn everything from HighLevel, you still haven't thought about who is going to be your target audience. So don't try to service everyone. Don't try to learn everything. Focus on one specific problem, one specific pain that you can solve, and then do that over and over again. Because then you're going to be able to talk with the right people. You're going to be more confident. You're going to be able to scale more, and the delivery is going to be also easier on your side.
Mm-hmm. So find one problem worth solving, focus on that, go after it, build the confidence, and from there you can add on additional things. Don't try and do everything at once. Lucas, we're at the end. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Vid.
Sharing your journey, sharing your wisdom.
Pleasure to be here. Maybe next year there's another one. Who knows?
Yes,
I'll be excited for.
Absolutely. So thank you, mate. And guys, thank you as well. Thank you for listening to today's episode on the HighLevel Experience. If you've enjoyed today's episode, then please share it with your fellow agency mates and other high levelers that you think would also benefit from listening. For show notes, links, and extra tips to help you grow your agency or your SaaS with HighLevel, please go to highlevelexperience.com. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.